Companies fired their developers, blamed AI, watched their stock prices rise. Then, something went wrong. AI-generated code contained 1.7 times more errors than code written by humans. Seasoned engineers using AI tools were actually 19% slower than engineers working without them. Amazon experienced 4 critical system failures in 90 days, all traced to AI-assisted code changes. And 49% of development teams reported a decrease in real productivity after adopting AI coding tools. So the companies that fired their developers started making phone calls. Come back, we need you. This is the story nobody in tech wants you to know about, because it reveals something deeply uncomfortable about the AI revolution being sold to investors, to shareholders, and to the public. And it is happening right now, quietly, inside the same companies that announced those layoffs with so much confidence. Let me show you exactly what happened. Starting in 2024, the narrative across the tech industry became almost identical at every major company. AI is going to replace developers. We are cutting teams, freezing junior hiring, and betting on automated code generation tools that can build complete software in seconds. Since 2024, an estimated 124,000 software developers were laid off across the industry. Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Salesforce, Google. The list is long, and the announcements were made with the confidence of people who believed they had figured something out. The idea seemed simple: fewer developers, more automation, higher profit margins. Here is what actually happened. AI tools are extraordinarily good at generating code quickly. What they are not good at is generating code that works correctly inside real systems. According to recent studies, AI-generated code contains up to 1.7 times more errors than code written by humans. This forced companies to spend more time reviewing and fixing problems than they had previously spent just writing the code in the first place. It gets worse. Massive AI code generation caused companies to accumulate up to 38% more total code to maintain. More code, more complexity, more systems to keep running, more things that can break. The promise was efficiency. The reality was a technical debt explosion. And here's the finding that explains why so many companies got this so wrong so fast. According to Gartner, more than 50% of errors in AI-generated code are not syntax errors or programming mistakes. They are business context errors. AI can write functions and algorithms based on learned patterns. It cannot understand business objectives, technical constraints, or strategic decisions. It does not know why the system was built the way it was. It does not know which corner of the codebase is fragile. It does not know what the client actually needs versus what they said they needed. So the code works in isolation. Then it fails when integrated into the real system. Then a human developer has to come in and fix it. Except the human developers were fired. According to an IBM study, 4 out of 10 development teams reported compatibility issues when integrating AI-generated code into their existing infrastructure. 4 out of 10. Not edge cases, mainstream outcomes. And researchers at Princeton University found something that should concern every executive who bet their engineering strategy on AI tools. AI models failed to self-correct in more than 60% of cases, even when explicitly asked to review their own code. The tool makes a mistake. The tool cannot find the mistake. A human has to find the mistake. But the humans were fired. So what did companies do? They rehired them. This phenomenon now has a name in the industry: boomerang hiring. And according to current data, up to 40% of new software engineering hires are former employees who were previously laid off by the same company after being replaced by AI. 35% of all new tech hires in 2026 are boomerang hires. People coming back to fix the problems created by the tools that replaced them. Google specifically rehired approximately 20% of its software engineers in 2025 from its own former employee pool. Quietly, without a press release, without any public acknowledgement that the original decision had caused problems. And here is what Gartner just confirmed. 50% of companies that laid off workers because of AI will rehire for the exact same roles by 2027. Half, within 3 years. Now, let's be honest about what this tells us, because there are 2 very different lessons here, and which one you take away matters enormously. The first lesson is that AI coding tools simply do not work, that the entire AI revolution is hype, and companies will eventually return to the old model. That is not what the data shows. Their second lesson is more accurate and more interesting. AI coding tools work, but they work differently from how companies assumed they would work. And the companies that assumed they could eliminate human developers entirely fundamentally misunderstood what software development actually is. Writing code is not the hard part of software development. Understanding the problem, knowing the codebase, making judgment calls about architecture, catching the mistake that makes sense syntactically but breaks everything in production, those are the hard parts. And those parts are still human. What the data actually shows is this. 61% of companies that adopted AI coding tools in 2026 increased their hiring of senior developers, specifically to review and supervise AI-generated output. The companies that figured out the model are not using AI instead of developers. They are using AI to make senior developers dramatically more productive, while eliminating the need for junior developers doing routine tasks. That distinction matters enormously if you are a developer reading this right now. Because AI is not coming for your job. AI is coming for the least interesting parts of your job, and it is creating a premium for the most interesting parts. 96% of developers report they do not fully trust AI-generated code. That distrust is not fear of technology. It is the professional judgment of people who understand what it actually takes to ship software that works. And that judgment is now more valuable than ever, precisely because there is so much more AI-generated code that needs to be reviewed. But here is the uncomfortable truth that neither the tech companies nor the AI evangelists are saying clearly. The companies that fired 124,000 developers, watched their systems degrade, and are now quietly rehiring them, those companies have never publicly acknowledged that the original decision was wrong. They cut the jobs with press releases. They are rehiring through recruiters. The stock went up when they announced the layoffs. It did not go down when they started bringing people back, which means the incentive structure remains intact. The next company that wants to boost its stock price by announcing AI-driven efficiency will do exactly the same thing, regardless of what happened at Amazon, at Google, at Microsoft. Because the downside of getting this wrong lands on the workers who were fired, not on the executives who made the call. The developers who were laid off in 2024 and 2025 spent months or longer out of work. They updated their skills. They retrained. They applied for hundreds of jobs in a contracting market. Some of them never recovered the career momentum they had before. The Goldman Sachs research we covered in a previous video found that technology-displaced workers face earnings growth that is 10 percentage points lower than their peers over the following decade. For some of those 124,000 developers, the boomerang did not come back. The call never came, and the company that fired them moved on without a second thought. That is the part of the story that does not make it into the press release when the rehiring begins. AI is reshaping software development. That is real. The tools are powerful and they are getting more powerful. But the companies that tried to eliminate human judgment from the process entirely have now learned, expensively and quietly, that they got the model wrong. The developers who understand how to work with AI, supervise it, catch its mistakes, and apply the business context it will never have, those developers are not being replaced. They are being rehired. If this video changed how you think about AI and jobs, hit the like button and subscribe. We cover AI, big tech, and the decisions being made by the world's most powerful companies that affect all of us. If you enjoyed this video, click on the like button and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. The next video is one you need to see.